Hi guys, welcome to Football Brownie. Hope you're well, keeping safe, keeping each other safe and spreading that love right across big bad world. Now, I know you've been on to me doing the Euros. Go on, go live, go live. I haven't been enjoying the Euros. And I couldn't be bothered to go live. I'll be completely honest with you guys. Anyway, tonight we're going live because basically, coming into a new season, Mr. Tom, how are you, my friend?
I'm okay. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm in Spain at the moment, and stressed with the girlfriend. Very stressed.
I can
Okay.
tell you're in a hotel of some sort because that is a wonderful wallpaper,
Oh,
wonderful hotel wallpaper.
unbelievable wallpaper. Yeah,
Mhm.
it. It's a sight for sore eyes in the morning. I tell you.
Yeah, it
Anyway,
could be worse. Could be worse, mate.
right. Okay, the Euros. I'll be honest with you, Tom. Being Welsh, I don't I don't enjoy a tournament until England get knocked out. And I'm getting worried. I'm getting worried now. I'm getting really worried that for the rest of my life, I could have 2024 Euros shoved down my throat.
I don't know. It could be worse. You could be English and be forced to watch the English national team try to play football. It's
Has been awful. But not just
not
England,
great.
mate. Not just England. Apart from Spain, they've all been awful.
Yeah,
And I'm blaming Pep for this. I
yeah.
really am.
I know what you're gonna say. Yeah.
Football
Like
been as football's been
everyone plays the same type of football now to try
yeah.
and replicate Pep. Apart from Southgate, who openly plays the opposite of attacking football.
The risk is so big now that nobody wants to lose, and that's the main factor.
Mm-hmm.
You have players who don't take risks anymore. That's why Grealish didn't go to the Euros because when he plays for Man City, all he does is pass sideways and forward and backwards like every other man. I don't know. I don't know, mate.
Do you know why we're really bad at this defensive football? And when I say bad, I mean people are going to say, oh, yeah, but England haven't hardly let any goals in. I'm like, well, yeah, in that context, it's successful defensive football, but it's boring. So when I say bad, it's boring because it's not fun to watch. It's not fun to invest your time into watching it, let's say. It's because we're stacked with players that generally play in teams that are constantly attacking, right? So
Yeah.
they're implementing a style of football that they're always training at and they're good at, and then a couple of weeks every 2 or 3 months they then go to England camp where it's like, right lads, all that attacking football that you love playing when you was a kid and things like this, we're now going to throw all that out of the way because now we're going to play side to side back to the goalkeeper defensive football.
There's one corner kick in that England game. It went from a corner all the way back to Pickford
Yeah.
within 2-3 seconds. Incredible, man. Incredible. And I'm so glad that I don't pay entry. I'd rather go to local league or lower division
Mm-hmm.
football than pay crazy prices to watch that kind of shit.
Something you said, which you're right on, uh, yeah, for the most part. But one thing you hit on was when you said it's risk-free football. Like
Yeah,
there's no one's taking any chances, and I understand. Like again, it's Pep's implemented this. If you can just keep the ball, no one can score past you. Which, yeah, as
exactly.
a cliche, that is true. But to actually watch it most of the time, it's actually piss poor and crap.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. Oh, anyway, Holland tomorrow. What do you think?
I I imagine it's going to be more the same.
Do you? Because I think Holland will come out. I think Holland will come out, and maybe there'll be a bit more space than outer defensive teams in which England have come up against late, throughout the tournament. Really,
I reckon if a team really wants to go for it against England, it's there to be done because of the fact that we are so like always make the simple pass, give it backwards because their players less likely to be there to chase it down and things like that. But then you keep that, you're going to move yourself backwards very quickly. And a side like Holland has the potential to actually pin you in very quickly,
yeah.
and it's hard to get out of that once you're in the box. Let's say your own box, and you've been pinned in by the other team. Very hard to get out of it.
No, you're right there. You're right there. I enjoyed that game earlier, though. I enjoyed that game earlier. Obviously, Spain and the locals, they won. But I think at this moment in time, Spain deserve to win a tournament the way they've been playing. Like they're the only ones which have, played football right way during the tournament.
To be fair, I would say, they probably are going to go on to win the tournament. Obviously, there's 3 teams left in it, but on the whole, looks like they're looking good for it. I will say I don't think they've been particularly great myself, in all fairness, but they've not had to be. Them not being great, they're still probably better than everyone else. But by their standards, because if you look at their teams that have been successful, this team, Spain, would get smashed by the Spain team that won the 2010 World Cup.
Oh, absolutely. Remember, they won that World Cup without centre forward.
Yeah.
Before the tournament, over the years, I've watched Morata. I watched Alvaro Morata, in a Bernabeu as well. I actually went to a Champions League semi-final when they loaned him out to Juventus. And in a semi-final, he actually knocked Real Madrid out. And Juventus went to play Barcelona in the final. I went to that game. But he went to Chelsea. He went to Juventus permanently. He went back to Atleti. And I'd be honest with you, Alvaro Morata's agent must be the best agent in the freaking world. And before the tournament, I said Spain will not get anywhere with Alvaro Morata up front, but I could be eating humble pie.
He is. I was saying this on, I think it was one of Gary's shows the other week. He is the player, he's the footballing equivalent of Roberto Martinez, where he must be such a lovely man to be around. Like, people actually want to bring him in, because the transfer fees that man has commanded, and whenever I watch him playing at football match, he's shocking. He's absolutely shocking. But for some reason, every summer, I say he must be a lovely man. It's either that or the opposite. He's either that or a Craig Bellamy type, where he only stays in one place for a year and then he's off.
Here we go about Craig Bellamy. We're going to have a conversation about that guy soon.
Yeah, but it's either he's really great and just people just are blind to what I'm seeing, or I'm blind to what they're seeing. Or it's the opposite, where they bring him in and then they quickly have buyer's remorse, and you tend to not be able to use a receipt in £1 million transfers in football. But same with Lukaku.
Oh, unbelievable. He can't even move. And Ronaldo should never be there, mate. I think he personally cost Portugal in this.
Sorry?
I think he personally cost Portugal through progressing throughout this tournament.
I think you could be right. It gave I'm not really gonna say it. Like if you watched the trip last night, not to plug it or anything. Well, no, I'm playing it. If I
Yeah, go on, plug it, no problem.
But no, but we do a show on Monday nights over on Gary DWTT's channel. And basically on that, I basically said it was quite sad watching Ronaldo, especially in the Georgia game that they lost. Because it had all the hallmarks of stat padding. Yeah, where it was the footballing equivalent of let's all work to let him score.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at international football, in an international football tournament, a little bit of it, like, if you're already winning and you're at the end of the game, like 5 minutes left, oh yeah, like Chelsea letting Claude Makélélé score to win the title in 2005. Fine. He was a key part of why they won the title in 2005.
Yeah.
Lovely little moment for him. And he was a great footballer. And I'm not saying Ronaldo's not a great footballer, but at the same time, Ronaldo at 40, queuing up, like that, literally, like, oh, this player's got to give the ball to, like Bruno Fernandes is like trying to lay it on a plate for him like he's a child.
I know.
Sad.
I know.
It made me sad.
It was a sad kind of. But Martinez should be fucking. Look, I don't like Martinez because of Swansea link, yeah? But he should have had a backbone and said no.
Like I say, like you were saying about Morata, I don't understand how he gets the jobs he gets. Because, and again, I've got nothing against him personally. It's just more, it's like, I don't, like, how are people not seeing what I'm seeing? I'm like, how does he go from managing Belgium to managing Portugal?
I know. And failed at Belgium with the golden generation as well. Right, let's go on a chat. We haven't ignored you. I haven't spoke to Mr. Tom for a little while, so okay.
Fine,
Oh, new one. Chris, you're married. Yeah. What do you think of the
goal we scored was
superstar?
lovely. I'll tell you what upset me the most. In Ryan's show earlier, someone in his chat, I believe it was Chris Nix, wrote that Yamal's dad is 35. It really upset me to discover that I'm older than the dad of a football player. I've never experienced that. I was kind of getting in a situation where I was getting upset if I found out I was older than a football player. But now I'm older than their dads.
I know. Welcome to my world, mate. Welcome to my world.
Oh, it's going to happen more and more. I know. It's such is the nature of life. But that was the first one where, like, it hit me like a sledgehammer.
That Cardiff City fan. I made you well. Caruso's prediction: 2-1 England tomorrow, and Spain to win 2-0 in the final.
He could well be right.
Yeah, I think Holland or Netherlands, if you want to be particular. I think he will score.
I just want there to be goals in a football match that I'm watching in this tournament. Because
Stefan says he's got to play in his goes out. I know.
I feel like I've watched every 0-0 draw.
No. Start of the season is coming. Live shows are coming. Watch-alongs are coming. Right from the start this time. I was going to do a watch-along tonight with TNS. I was going to do a watch-along on that. But unfortunately, I couldn't get the stream. But TNS won 3-0. That was a half-time score, 3-0. In the Champions League.
Oh, they started the qualifiers tonight, didn't they?
Yeah. I don't like them, though. They are the Welsh Milton Keynes Dons.
Yeah, because I remember when they were called Total Network Solutions, and then they changed the name, didn't they, to the New Saints? Is that right?
Yeah. They actually play the games in England. That Cardiff City fan, Spain to win a Euros. Yeah.
I enjoy his
not many people backed them before the Euros. Not many people backed them. You know, I was looking at 7-1 before a ball was kicked. France, England, Portugal. They all have, mate. Do you think, Mr. Tom, do you think there's too much football now?
I do think sometimes.
Is it affecting the World Cup? Is it affecting the Euros? Is it affecting just standards as a whole?
I think there could be an argument made for these players are tired. But ultimately, more than anything, I think it's just they're all tactically set up to play the same way, and it cancels each other out to a degree. So even if they're not tired, I don't think it'll matter. I think because the clubs certainly don't care that they're tired, because they'll still ship them out to America for their pre-season tours in 2 weeks. So they don't care that much about the state of the players. They just don't want the players playing in the matches that pay the least money and prestige.
Yeah.
So I don't feel sorry for them.
Welcome to modern day football, unfortunately, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, my Cardiff City fan says I can't stand football actually coming home. On about too much football. I'll be honest with you, Tom. I can't wait for a tournament to finish so I can have a month off to football. Do you know what I mean? Football, obviously with YouTube and the Facebook and everything else, I still have to get the content out. But maybe it's me getting old now, and I actually need that break.
There's never not football on.
I know.
Sometimes, I think, it's healthy, to switch off a bit to football. And I know, that might come across sometimes how can you sit and go on YouTube channel to talk about football if then you're pleased when there's no football? I'm like, well, no, it's just a nice novel. You can't miss something if it doesn't go away.
That's why I'm over here, obviously, to try and resolve a relationship which doesn't look good at the moment. But I miss just the summer break. I miss the summer break. Back when I was watching Cardiff week in, week out. I would go to the cricket, watch Glamorgan. Just to ensure that we all get together, even if it's just one or twice a month. But I do miss the football break, and I don't know.
It's because there's so much money in it that anytime there's not football, clubs will see it as they're not making money, so they're losing money.
Yeah.
At the elite level, if you're not making money every second of the week, you are losing the opportunity to make money.
Yeah.
If you're not playing football somewhere... Oh, sorry. Go on. Sorry, sir.
No, sorry, mate. Stefan says it's been shite. The scallywags on YouTube have made it bearable. And Facebook, remember? Right. Cardiff are no different. England half of the time.
Oh, no. Whenever Cardiff play Leeds, right, and I know it's a bit of a derby, right? I get why there's a bit more bite in it in the Cardiff context. Well, ours as well. But so I guess what I'm saying is, when I watch Cardiff, it's like you never not try against Leeds. So when I'm sitting there and I'm seeing naturally a Cardiff fan sitting there going, oh, we're more boring in England. I'm like, well, I've never seen that. Because it never happens when I'm watching Cardiff play, which is invariably when Leeds play Cardiff.
It's because you are right. It's because everyone wants to play that particular brand of football now. Do you know what I mean? And it's going down the leagues, and come from that particular brand of football. And I caught one guy out yesterday on Twitter. I don't know, guys, if you're on Twitter, have a look at that conversation. But I caught one guy out who is employed as a football analyst. Right? Did you see this, Tom?
No, but is it the XG philosophy or something like that?
No, he's employed a football analysis. And before Bellamy got confirmed Welsh manager,
Yeah.
the now Oxford manager was linked.
Right.
Buckingham or something. I never heard of a guy, but he took over Oxford. Now, this guy was a football analysis, but also an Oxford fan. And he said, this guy would be very good for Wales. I'm thinking, hang on.
If he's that good, why do you want to give him away?
Well, if you looked at Oxford's season, okay, they got promoted, yeah, but via the playoffs. But if you look at the season, another guy was a manager and took him to second, and he then went off to Bristol City mid-season. This new guy,
Is that Liam Manning?
yeah,
Is that right? Yeah.
this new guy then comes in. Oxford then slumped from second to fifth. Yeah. And Bolton had a nightmare in the final. They shouldn't have beaten Bolton in the final, but and it's like, how can I? He ruined the golden opportunity to come up in the play in automatic. You're supposed to be a football analyst, mate.
I obviously I haven't read the conversation, but my instinctual response to that would be the Manning was probably overperforming, and then when the other guy took over, Oxford sort of like regressed to their natural level. And then he basically won the playoff final. Because if you're hot overachieving and then you fall to your actual level, you're probably going to end up somewhere in the middle, depending on how long you had. But I don't know.
Anyway,
as long as we beat them twice next year, I don't
care. Stefan, I remember that. How can you take a corner then go back to your keeper? I know, that's right. Richard,
that gives me nightmares. Gives me nightmares, Brownie. Last year, again, because my team, Leeds United, if you didn't know, like Stevie Wonder might not know. Anyway, he's totally watching this, by the way. The amount of times I saw Leeds corner end up with Meslier, the goalkeeper, and I'm not, despite what people might think, I'm not the most angry person when we're actually watching football, like performatively. Like, I'll just sit and watch the game. Like, I'll take it in, and then I give, like, my emotions of it after. But yeah. I wanted to throw things at the television because I don't think there's an excuse for it. Like, we've got to build out from the back. But you don't need to build out from the back if you're already in line with the goal.
Yeah. Crazy. Richard, good evening. Hi, mate. Hope you're well. Hope you're well, my friend. Let's jump down a little bit. Ryan in the podcast. Hi, Ryan. Great show early on as well. Super Craig at the wheel will be flying.
Craig is on at the wheel will be fine. His own reflection within 5 minutes. Hello, Bart. Is my internet still on? Or is it Brownie that's disappeared? But anyway, how you doing, Bargav? But Brownie's frozen, right? Like, you can still hear me, Spencer, I'm guessing. I mean, it's called Brownie in the one of the more precarious freeze pictures. But yeah, no, I'll tell you what, Dougie, my opinion on this, and shame I ain't got control of the thing, is relating to Daniel Farke with his subs. His subs work perfectly if Leeds are winning. Because then he's basically like, I'll save all my subs to the 87th minute, and then I'll make my subs. Because then you kill the clock. You take time off the clock. Fine. Problem is, if we're not winning, personally, I think if you're not winning a football match in 65th to 70th minute, that's when you make your changes. 99% of the time. I don't think he does that because he doesn't expect us to be losing. I mean, we shouldn't have been losing with the squad we had. Like, regardless of how it went, from the perspective of what you think you have, a lot of those games should have gone a different way, but they didn't, and that's neither here nor there. But still, I don't know. Oh, hang on, BX Gun has been on the. Right, Brownie's back, I believe.
What happened then? What happened then?
I have no idea.
I think your hotel internet just conked out to me.
So I was just talking
Sorry,
to Dougie about Daniel Farker and his substitution policy. Riveting stuff. I mean, I'm sure Dougie loved it as a Leeds fan, but I'm not sure about everyone else.
Oh, sorry, mate. Right, I've had to jump down the chat a little bit. Oh, Spencer, I sound like a Jim White, a Welsh Jim. No, hey, I don't have freebies all the time. You know, no. I think Jim White would welcome a Michael Barrymore pool party myself.
It's a shame that I quite enjoy Simon Jordan most of the time.
Oh, yeah, Jordan, no problem. But Jim
I don't
White,
agree with everything he says, but I admire his ability to explain it.
Yeah.
Even if I think he's wrong, I admire his ability to explain something that is wrong. Like, at least he can calmly... I mean, again, I'll put it another way. If you're having a debate with Martin Keown, I don't really think that's particularly fair. Because I'd argue Martin Keown is not the most... and I know he's Arsenal and everything, I'm attacking him because he's Arsenal. But it's usually Martin Keown and Simon Jordan just destroys him in debates. But could be wrong.
I know.
Could be wrong. I'm not. He does destroy him in debates, but I'm just being more.
Every Friday, mate. Every Friday, Martin Keown. How the fuck have he got all these gigs in the media? The guy is boring as fuck. Bargaff. Hi, Bargaff. Hope you're well. Would you make a transfer window? Right.
Because you need Arsenal players in the media.
Mr. Tom, you are my witness. People in the chat are my witness. Right? The last kind of live chat we had before the transfer window opened, really. And what did I tell you? This transfer window is going to be dead. It's going to be dead because FFP is taking over, whether we like it or not. FFP is taking over. This transfer window is going to be dead. What do you think?
There's the one thing that you haven't accounted for in that, though. And like, you're not totally wrong, but this is on me as well. I didn't think that the clubs would actually realise that they can actually sell each other their youth team players for a lot of money.
Yeah,
like that didn't occur to me that was going to be a thing that happened, and it seems to be a thing that has happened. So, like Newcastle have sold a. Yeah, I've probably got it the wrong way round, but I know there was a 19-year-old that has never played Premier League football who got sold for like 28 million. And it's like, that's purely to get around profit and sustainability rules, because why else would you do it?
Everton have done something like that as well, haven't they?
Everton, Villa, Newcastle and Chelsea, I believe, have been the main instigators of this. And it's not illegal. Like, no. it don't get me wrong, it's massively immoral because these players are not worth what is being paid. But then I will not hypocrite myself, because I did say yesterday to Tony Turner when he was saying, Saka's like the 6th highest valued footballer in the world. And I went, that's not true. And he went, I know he meant because of like he had some internet like list of valuations. But I went, it's not true, because if no one's bid for him and no one's paid for him, you don't know what he's worth, because you only find it out when someone puts the money up.
Exactly.
So again, Newcastle someone put the money up for this youth team player, but I still think it's a bit suspect.
I see you got the Leeds shirt on now, yeah?
Well, yeah, but this is out of date now.
Where's the Red Bull?
Yeah, it's out of date. I've got to ask Santa for the newest one. I actually quite like that shirt, though. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have. But I can also understand why Leeds fans are not happy. I think if it was a design where it was all like light blue, I think that would be more acceptable.
I mean, they're entitled to their opinion, but I think it's massively pretentious because the main reason I think it's pretentious is because they'll go, I don't like red on our shirts, and I'm like, okay, that's really cool. But then what about when Packard Bell was our sponsor in 1998, and basically part of the Packard Bell logo there's red on it? And what about when we were sponsored by Red Kite in League One? That's an entirely red thing. King Billy Bremner himself wore the Leeds United away kit in 1970, which was red. So I don't know where they're getting it from that you don't have red on a Leeds kit because of Man United, because it's not some some magical what's the word, like Voldemort, like you don't talk about it or do it, because we have. And if Red Bull gives you 60 million in the Championship to put their thing on your shirt, give me the money and I'll put it on there. I don't care.
You got another Leeds fan, Doogie. Farker, similar to Southgate, with his subs, he leaves them too late. Is that right?
Yeah, we was discussing that while you was having your internet issues. But basically was saying that Farker's tactic essentially is to be winning the game until the 87th minute, and then he makes the subs to knock 5 minutes off the clock, which is great when you're winning. But when we're not, he doesn't know when to do them. It feels like. But
BX, he's having a good drink. I'm having a good drink because a Russian girl is fucking my mind, mate. Proper fucking my mind. Anyway, enjoy your drink. Professional as ever. Hey, we are the most professional show out of a lot, Tom, aren't we?
I've seen far worse. There's ones on Saturday. There's ones even on Friday night. I was going to name all the shows that I'm on to then go, oh, they're terrible. They're terrible compared to this. But I'm not going to do people like that.
Spencer,
When
I've done a few things. I've done a few things on TalkSport lately, mainly on the Facebook channel, and it's got a lot of traction actually. But Spencer says he doesn't hate TalkSport. Listen to it when it was in the Middle East. TalkSport, in my opinion, have completely disregarded the core audience, which is basically the white van man of the UK. Completely disregarded. Right? Where you had Mike Parry, who I think is funny as hell. Right? Alan Brazil in the morning. You know, you've what happened to the Moose as well? They've got rid of him.
It's become I find it interesting how they were like one of the biggest critics of AFTV, because obviously, and again, AFTV were basically, they pioneered the YouTube football channel. To be fair, there may be someone before it. There probably was, but they popularized it. The concept. Like, generally, we're not sat here if that didn't happen or if that didn't exist. But TalkSport were very much like, oh, yeah, this is taking away our audience, so we're going to discredit it all the time. And then they have them in for a discussion, and Robbie's on there and all that. But they've basically become that. They've gone out of their way. Basically, we're going to get them. Why else is Gabriel Bonglahor on the radio if not for him, basically? I think Ray Charles would be able to say more sensible stuff about football, and he's blind and dead.
I'll be honest with you. Someone made a comment on a Facebook post I done about it, and his persona in the TalkSport studio does make me think that this guy was right. What he said is that he's kind of like the person in the studio everyone can take the piss out of because he's so fucking stupid, and he doesn't realize that he is the joke. like in the old days in the circus. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Has he got some fucking mental difficulties, basically? In the final of Britain's Got Talent or something, and or X Factor, and they bring in all the people where everyone laughs at.
Yeah.
Gabby Abondahor seems to be that type of person in the TalkSport studio because he's so fucking thick.
I get like, and people go like, oh, but he was Aston Villa's highest ever scorer, and I'm like, well, that says a lot about Aston Villa, then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
More than anything, but no, obviously.
Have you heard Faye Carruthers?
I've heard her commentary. I think she's okay. I've heard a lot worse.
Well, doing the Euros, yeah. Her job
Yeah.
is basically to be the press person following England around. Right now,
Right.
I get it. That
Is
you
that
have to
for
lick
TalkSport?
ass for make sure the doors are open. I get that, but I'm telling you, fucking hell, the first couple of games, England were fucking terrible. They've been terrible anyway. But the arse licking and the cocksucking by Faye Carruthers and TalkSport when it comes to interviewing Gareth Southgate or any other players is fucking well overboard. Do you know what I mean? It's becoming a woke fucking station.
I think they're all going that way though, because I think they just get less shit for it if they do than if they don't. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I just feel like
Yeah, because of the MSN.
it's just a lot easier to just go along with it. But obviously, we differ in that. I think there are people that I have no problem with having these jobs. Or Aluko is awful.
Right. Oh, fuck it.
Aluko is awful. Like I don't care about the fact that she's a woman or her being black. She's a terrible football pundit.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
objectively terrible. You shouldn't have to preface that as well. But that's how far it goes with she's just not good at it. Like, and I get in modern, like, no one's actually going through Match of the Days from 1992 to pick out things that Jimmy Hill said.
Yeah.
Like, silly. Like, to be fair to her, I do appreciate that, because social media, the lens is on people more than ever, and they'll just rip every word you say to bits if it's not perfect. But a lot of the stuff she does say, I do sit there and think like, what? Like, what? Where'd you get that from? Explain yourself. Doesn't explain herself. If you ask her, I've never asked her, but I imagine if you do change it, it's just simply, are you being racist or are you being sexist? It's like, no, I just want you to explain why your shit opinion, why you believe it. That's it.
Stefan, Adrian Dillon. Did you like Adrian Dillon?
I find it.
I
think
got
Stefan's
tired of him
assessment
quite
is
quickly.
accurate.
Sorry, man. Go on.
He once, when Leeds lost 6-2 to Man United, he was on TalkSport saying that Marcelo Bielsa, if he has any stones to him, or no, I don't know the exact word, I can't remember the exact word he used, but it was basically like, if he had any credibility, he would offer his resignation. And to which I was like, mate, what are you talking about? And to be fair to him, he did say, I'm not saying he should actually resign, but he should offer it, and then Leeds should say no, and then get on with his job. And I'm like, so why? What? Like,
yeah, I got it. Mr. Bundle, hi, my friend. Hope you're well. There you go. Ryan supporting you there. I know Stefan doesn't like Simon Jordan. I know that. Everyone's saying hello
it's
to everybody.
funny for someone who says a lot about people talking sense or that, he doesn't like someone who actually does talk a lot of sense. Interesting.
Hey, and a new guy they got for football transfers, Alex Crook. This guy is a fucking charlatan. This guy is an absolute charlatan. And he's basically in front of a laptop waiting for Fabrizio Romano's fucking tweet. And he's like, yeah, my sources have just said, fuck off, mate. You a fucking source. It's fucking hate in a local
Is that the guy who, sorry, when he says sources, does that mean he checked Romano's Twitter?
Yeah, basically that's all he does. Oh yeah, my sources and all that. And the other day, him and Jim White went to a sauna, right? Now, I know. Him and Jim White went to a sauna, apparently, right? Now, I'm not fucking suggesting anything dodgy went on there, right? Mr. Tom may be, with his facial expressions, may fucking, right? But anyway.
No, there's not.
I've noticed this, right? I've noticed this ever since we went on a day with sauna, right? Jim White has been bigging Alex. He's the hardest working person in Germany on TalkSport. I'm thinking, hang on, mate. He's either sucked your fucking penis, right? Right? He's either sucked your penis, mate, or something else had fucking happened in that sauna.
I'm sorry. I'm just still hooked on they're in a sauna. Like, what does that have to do with the price of sand in Nigeria? Like, what's that got to do with anything in terms of football transfers? Like, they're in a sauna. Like, what are they?
Right?
It'd be like if we were doing our show and it's like, oh, well, we're presenting our show live from the local park.
And Jim White, right? Every half an hour, right? He thinks we thick as shit, right? Every half an hour, he says, okay, we're live from Dusseldorf. It's 12 o'clock here, 11 o'clock in the UK. What? Am I so fucking thick? I don't know that Germany is fucking 1 hour ahead. You fucking tell me every half an hour, bro.
A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know these things. You have to know. I know this. You have to treat the audience like they're stupid. And I know I can't say it because you've got an audience. So I'm not saying it like that.
Yeah, what are you telling them? Bloody hell.
You've got very intelligent audience, and Stefan. but I'm telling you this right now, right? You can't assume the audience is more intelligent than it is. Because otherwise TV wouldn't be like that, would it?
Fair enough.
Because a lot of TV treats the audience like they're dumb. But there must be a reason for it. Otherwise they wouldn't. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that's why they do. Because if he turned around and went, it's 1 p.m, there will be someone that sits there and types, why are you saying it's 1? It's clearly midday. It's clearly midday, Jim. What are you talking about? There'd be someone just saving it. Whereas you're less likely to actually type to him and go, Jim, why are you telling me both times?
But always remember, Tom. Always remember, football with Brownie, and people know in the chat, football with Brownie was. Forget about Fabrizio Romano. Everyone else, football Brownie was the first with the Mason Greenwood. First with Messi to PSG, Ronaldo Man United, Sergio Ramos to PSG, and it was someone else. But I had one transfer which didn't happen. Right? Everything else, all happened. But one Gareth Bale going to Cardiff didn't happen, and people always remember that one.
Yeah, but that should have happened.
There's no comment. Don't get me angry about that.
Well, no, I just mean in the thing of like, it would have been the best way to prove that he actually loved football more than people thought he did.
Well, his uncle played for Cardiff as well.
Well, there you go.
Anyway, let's not go Go down that. That'll get me
Have-
angry.
So before, I did intend on asking you: is there anything going on with Cardiff, like transfers or anything? I mean, I'm clearly scouting for my position for next season, but
You know what, mate? It's another season of scrapping against relegation. You know, I'm being honest. The championship is becoming a casino league big time now. When you've got Leeds with Red Bull, and I think Stoke, because they back with Bet365, I think they're going to go big soon. And Cardiff,
the rules
it's
are
sad.
hamstring in the league, though.
Yeah.
You can't.
I mean, the owner of Cardiff is a billionaire, right? He had a few opportunities. He lasted in Premier League one season on 2 occasions, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to push for promotion. He's quite happy to stay in the championship. Now, no team in the championship makes any profit. So what?
What business is your owner in, though?
Oh, what isn't he, mate? Hotels. Vincent Tan. I don't know. Let's have a look.
Well, because like the reason I asked that is because maybe he's content that even being in the EFL Championship, he's still promoting his business without. Because a lot of owners just basically do use the clubs as a vehicle to promote.
Oh, absolutely, and use the club to lend money and have massive interest back. Right, let's share this, yeah? Share screen. Okay, right. Bayer Corporation. He entered the Forbes billionaire list. 1.6 billion US dollar. Blah blah blah. You know, if you look at Cardiff sponsorship, he's very in with the Malaysian government. Cardiff sponsorship is Malaysia, and there's a lot of, you know, assuming under the table kind of things going on, you know. And even as a fan, it's sad to see that an owner of a championship club is quite happy to plod along. Because you must think, why are people spend going season tickets? Why?
It's taking advantage of people's connections to their clubs, whether they're local clubs or their clubs. But that's just the nature of football, and it's always going to do that, Brownie.
Yeah,
that will never change. They're never going to say Cardiff are never going to say to Adam Brown, keep your money in your pocket, mate. You have it. You have your money. Don't give it to us. We don't need it. We've already got a billionaire. No, they want you to pay so he doesn't have to.
Well, I was a season ticket holder for 13 years down there.
They can have both.
Right? Then they went from blue to red. And at that point, I went, no more, fuck this. And it wasn't just me, it was thousands of people just like me. And then all of a sudden, we found something else to do on a Saturday afternoon. Mainly go to a betting office, gamble like fuck on a football, and lose a fucking. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get why you're upset at changing to red. Like, if anyone thinks like, oh, why is it okay for Cardiff fans to be upset, but you're telling Leeds fans? I'm not telling Leeds fans to not be upset that there's red on the kit. I'm just saying the reasons you're mad for there being red on the kit, as if like it's never happened before, and it has happened. Whereas changing the entire kit from blue to red is unacceptable.
Oh, change the badge, the kit, the seats in the stadium.
Yeah,
incredible. To a red team who, okay, until recent years, when I was growing up in my early days of supporting Cardiff, it wasn't Swansea who were our rivals. It was actually Bristol City,
Hmm.
right? They were our main rivals, and for many people, just slightly older than me, they are still our main rivals. Whereas Swansea, I remember the scores being on a tannoy at half time, and even if Swansea were winning, some people would be cheering. Do you know what I mean? It's
Well, because
only
they just
it's
wanted the
only
Welsh team to do well.
it's only really the late 80s onwards. That's when politics started coming into the issue. You know, Swansea have a more unionist club now. You see British flags in the Swansea, whereas Cardiff is more nationalist. But it's only that which has basically kicked off a rivalry between Cardiff and Swansea since the late 80s. But Bristol City, if that guy wanted to buy a fucking red club, go and buy fucking Bristol City. Go and buy fucking Wrexham. You know what I mean?
I think some guys are so. Some people are just so used to getting what they want. Like you say, why not buy a team that already plays in red? But he's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm going to buy a team that doesn't and then make sure that they do. And that's the power trip you get from it. Because you can do what you want and people will let you do it. I mean, it didn't work.
I mean, basically, what he done, yeah,
Hmm.
he put an offer to the fans. We lost the League Cup final against Liverpool, and bloody hell, we were so close in winning that game. Right, when Cardiff scored equaliser, I fell
Yeah.
about four unbelievable game.
Oh, you
But
went to Wembley?
that was the game where he got interested in the club, and then he
Oh,
seen
okay.
the attraction of it at Wembley, and he put to the fans, "Okay, I will invest in the club if we change from blue to red." So he won the fans over by that. Then he got Bellamy and everyone else in, right? But he by him doing that still fucking hurts me, mate. By him doing that, because of my personal stance, but I did not even attend the game when it was red. Uh, he he stopped me watching my club in the Premier League because he done that.
Can you answer this question from Spencer? Because he wants
Uh,
to know why Swansea and
okay, I'm
Cardiff
sure this
compete.
is generally on the Google.
It's not just those two, Spencer. Newport County, they're in League Two, are they
Yeah.
not?
Right, what happened? Yeah, what happened? Back in like 1900, when the league started forming, you
Yeah.
had the top league, which was the first division. You had the second division, which is now the championship, and third division, which is now League One, with
Yeah.
North and South.
Yeah.
Now, Wales at that time wasn't an independent country; it was a principality, like what Monaco is. Yeah. The although they did still have separate FAs, the English FA then invited Swansea, Cardiff, Newport, Aberdeen Town, Merthyr Town
I was
to
thinking of Merthyr
play in
Thistle, yeah.
the Seventh League or the Seven Third Division. So we were actually invited to play. Roll on into the 90s. Wales is no longer a principality; it becomes a country. So it gives more powers to the Welsh FA. The Welsh FA then they tried to instruct all the clubs playing in England to play in Wales. Well, Cardiff were like, hang on, and Swansea were like, hang on, we're in bloody, what is now League One, League Two. Well, you
Yeah.
want us to go and play Carnarvon Town on a Saturday? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
But the other smaller teams were actually banned from playing in Wales. Like Newport had to play in Gloucester for many years before they won Anyway.
Didn't
So
they
basically,
at one point? Sorry, didn't they at one point basically say, well, if you're going to stay in the English pyramid, you can't be in the Welsh Cup, which means therefore
what
you
happened?
can't
What
qualify
happened?
for Europe.
What happened? Right. Right. Until Wales become a legal country or separate country,
Yeah.
It had a Welsh Cup. Now, because the clubs were invited to play in England, then the Welsh FA invited clubs on the border to come and play in the Welsh Cup. In the mid-80s, if you won the Welsh Cup, you can go to the European Cup Winners' Cup.
Yeah.
Right? In the mid-80s, because of HISO and the ban on English clubs playing in Europe, English clubs who were playing in the Welsh Cup, if they won it, were still banned from playing in Europe. So the runners-up would qualify playing in Europe. But very rare that happened, actually. Normally it was Cardiff, Swansea, Wrexham who would win it. You know?
But eventually it came to like, if you're going to play in England, you can't be in the Welsh Cup. And basically,
that's
Cardiff and Swansea and all that basically took a look at it and thought, like when someone threatens you, but like what they think they're threatening you with, you don't really care about at all. You're like, okay, I'll stay in this league where we're getting to like 10,000 people at least per game sort of thing. And we won't play in the World Cup. Like, that's absolutely fine. And then the Welsh FA are like, oh, I didn't think you would not want to be in the Welsh Cup. Oh, that's a bit awkward then, isn't it? And then everyone got on with their lives.
Back in the day, the Welsh Cup was a great competition. Really, forget about the earlier rounds when they play in, when it got to the quarterfinals, the semi. Murphy had a great team. Murphy won it in '87. They played Atalanta, who just won the European Conference. They played Atalanta and they beat them. I actually went there and they beat them 2-1. Unfortunately, they lost 2-0 on your way. Newport went to the quarterfinals or semi-finals. They come up against Karl Zeiss Jena, a East German outfit.
Yeah.
Cardiff beat Real Madrid. In the 60s in that competition. But when the clubs had to decide, they had to forfeit the opportunity of going into Europe every year for staying in the in the English league. That's basically how it was. But it was a great tour, great competition. It really was.
Did Wrexham play Porto once?
Yeah, they beat them. But Porto, they beat them technically. But Porto won 7-0 in the first leg.
Yeah. Because they keep that real quiet, that part.
yeah. But Wrexham played Man United in one of the first years. I think Man United won the first FA Cup and the Ferguson when they beat Crystal Palace. And I think in the Cup Winners' Cup of following year, I think they played Wrexham home and away.
The problem with the Cup Winners' Cup was UEFA perceived it as more prestigious than everyone else, like, because it was very lopsided in my opinion. The best European competition of the 90s was the UEFA Cup because it was absolutely loaded with teams, like, because obviously you've got one team in the Champions League, maybe two from a defending champion. So generally speaking, your UEFA Cup would have one of Real Madrid or Barcelona, Bayern Munich or Dortmund. You could end up, and it weren't seeded either, so you could end up with a second round that was Barcelona versus Bayern Munich.
Oh, straight knockout.
Yeah. Yeah, that as well. It was just not. It was just you draw this team, you play this team twice, winner goes for. And I know you all know the concept and knockout. Like, I'm not teach you how to suck eggs or anything, but there was no like group stage. Like the group stage was the Champions League, and the
Yeah,
money of that was essentially you played 6 games and you got lots of money.
yeah.
I mean, compared to now, it'd be nothing. Like you probably get like Conference League money, probably. I don't know, but
No, no,
generally
we'll
speaking,
go into that now. Hang on, because I know Stefan has made a point on that. We'll go into that now. Sorry, Spencer, does it cause the same between? Not really, Spencer. Now time have gone on. We're trying to come to some kind of agreement. The basically vast majority of football fans who support in Wales would support either Cardiff, Swansea, and all that. What they do during the pre-season, Cardiff or Swansea would go to some of the local Welsh clubs, and they give them a big monetary boost,
well,
and
that
also as
Cardiff
well
City fan.
they're trying to get the like under 21s to go to play in the Welsh league, but yeah, that caused a little bit of friction.
That Cardiff City fan who pops up in here, he like regularly on his channel, like he watches Cardiff, I believe. Well, of course, I was that Cardiff City fan. He watches
Yeah,
Cardiff, but if Cardiff are away and I mean, I'm not. I'm speaking for him. This is what I perceive it is. When Cardiff are away, he, with his age, that he's not travelling up. He's not travelling down to London or whatever. He watches. I believe it's Newport County or Cardiff Met University. I
yeah,
think is the
Cardiff
one.
Met, I think. Yeah, Cardiff Met, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, but again, it's like supporting the local Welsh sides. Because I mean, to be fair to him, wants to watch football. All power to
yeah.
him. But like,
I'm a
not
firm
beating about for
believer.
it.
I'm a firm believer. I know. No, it's. I've been campaigning for this for many years, right? League of Ireland. The League of Ireland is a summer league now,
Yeah,
right? When I first started this channel, we were doing watch-alongs in the summer because of it, just to do some content. That's a summer league. So you got all the fans who go to the mainland to follow. No, they stay and they watching local football. I'm a firm believer that Welsh league should be a summer league. Firm believer of that. I think the attendances would go through a roof, and because of that, you'll have the financial boost to all the smaller clubs. I don't know, guys in the chat. What do you think? Maybe I. What do you think,
do
Tom?
you think it? Do you think they haven't done that because there's a belief that eventually they will raise their league coefficient or something like that? I mean, they're wrong, but do you think they think that?
It's always been on the cards, and the CEO of the Welsh FA now was the previous Irish FA CEO.
Right.
Um, but it's not been put on the table. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get that. I get that. Well, because League of Ireland got really close to getting in the Champions League, didn't they?
Yeah.
Was it Shamrock Rovers penalty shootout in the
Well,
playoff?
Shamrock Rovers, Dundalk. It
Yeah,
does seem as if the summer league, because of the dates, by the time the qualifying rounds and all that come around, they bloody mid-season, they ready to go.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it has benefited the Irish clubs. And going back to your point earlier regarding the European tournaments and so on, you just basically one game. I remember Gibraltar. Some of Gibraltar teams would fall obviously at the first round of qualifying, but they would still net about 40, 50 grand from UEFA. That pays for a season.
I remember Lincoln Reading beat Celtic.
Yeah, yeah. And
Was,
was I there then? I went to Lincoln Reading and they played Rangers. I think it was the following season.
my actual favourite European like shock, let's just say, was again. Say what you will about Gary Lineker, the way he described this, I found very funny. Rangers lost to a team. They lost in the qualifying round to a team from Luxembourg, and the fourth best team in Luxembourg in the, I believe it would have been like a UEFA Europa League qualifier or whatever. And Gary Lineker went, Rangers just lost to the fourth best team in Luxembourg. Not the best team in Luxembourg. He actually wrote this out. Not the best team in Luxembourg. Not even the second best team. Not even the third best team. They lost to the fourth best team in Luxembourg. Yeah, incredible.
I thought when
did
I
that
thought
happen?
about embarrassments, I thought you were going to say Wales and Gibraltar then the other day.
Nah, because I know they had Leeds players in the team, so nothing shocks me there. But
Hang on. I need to charge the bloody thing. Take it away one moment.
Stefan is saying, what pisses me off is that smaller countries' clubs aren't in the European Cup now. Yeah, unfortunately, Stefan, that's exactly it. They've the TV audience, the TV companies are paying big money, and as much as the romanticism in football is what it is, ultimately they know that people aren't actually going to watch Real Madrid versus Ujipest in the same way as they're going to watch Real Madrid versus Manchester City. And I don't agree with it. And people always say like think they're being clever when they go like, oh, the Champions League should only have one team in it from each country. I'm like, yeah, that ideally that would be right. But it's like you can't unring a bell once it's already rung. Like no one's going to stand for you removing 4 English clubs now and only having one because they've spent so much money that they'll need the income. So if you take that away, it's like on a slight tangent, very slight. I find it really rich of Real Madrid and Barcelona to try and create their own league where they're going to get even more money because they don't like that they now have to spend more money to compete with the teams from the Premier League. And
no problem, Spencer. I enjoy going back talking about
Real Madrid and Barcelona are the reason why the transfer fees are what they are. They have had the world transfer record between them 90% of the time.
Come on, man.
They raised the bar.
Is that because I got Real Madrid top on now? Are you saying that because I got Real Madrid top on?
No, I just think they raised the bar and then they had the audacity to be upset that they were no longer the top of the heap.
Let's go back further, Tom. Let's go back further. And I tell you what, maybe people in the chat would back me or sack me, what I'm going to say. Right? What started the transfer thing is 2 reasons. Right?
Bosman?
Even back further. When they scrapped the 3 foreigner rule. When they scrapped the 3 foreigner rule, and remember, in England, 3 foreigners, they include Welsh, Scottish, and Irish, right? When they scrapped that, it was at that time, in my opinion, that's when the level of international football to the level of club football that completely changed.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking about this earlier. Back at that time, people thought the England manager job was the highest job you can go to. Then that changed, and that's all you got really, are managers of international nations who can't get a club job.
That's true.
Southgate's
not going to get a big 6 job, is he? Even if he wins the trophy.
When we got rid of our 3 foreigner rule, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, they were hurt for many, many decades later because they, all of a sudden, everyone from Europe come in and their players couldn't get through the system. That's my opinion. And as a result, that's when the transfer market just went crazy.
That's more down to prize money, though, isn't it? Ultimately, as in, because you were handing, if basically, it's like if you hand a child a gun, they're going to shoot it. So if you hand a football club 200 million a year, they're going to spend as much of that 200 million a year as they can. They'll probably spend more than they should, because that's just the nature of the beast. Very few teams are going to be fiscally responsible, especially in the Championship, to try and get out of it, to get that 200 million.
But if you were limited to 3 foreigners, then obviously that would deflate.
Oh no, I agree with that.
Deflate the transfer market.
Brownie, I genuinely think we are going to get. There will come a time where the England team will be comprised of a percentage of English players from the Championship, because the Premier League will be so saturated with overseas talent that you won't necessarily have the full player pool to pick from.
You know what's coming now, don't you? You know what's coming now.
What's that?
During the 90s, England fans were crying out for a British team. And it was only because of one thing. They wanted Ryan Giggs on the left. That is the only thing they wanted, was Ryan Giggs on the left, and they were crying out for a British team. Yeah. Because they didn't have a left winger.
I can't imagine many cry out for Giggs for anything these days.
Well, by all reports, the ex-girlfriend fucking cried a few times, but never mind, that's another thing. This is gonna I'm gonna be deep. No comment. But yeah, no. I don't know. I mean, when you look back at it, during the times of the 3 foreigner rule, right, you had England, you had Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, all had strong teams. Even Scotland, you know, they were favourites to win the World Cup in '78. And another thing as well is that the interest of the World Cup and Euros has gone down because people are now seeing the best players week in, week out.
Yeah, there's no mystique. There's no.
Yeah.
I remember being excited for World Cups because you knew Brazil were about to roll into town, and you'd see players you didn't see every week. There'd be these mystical figures, like, oh, there's Romario, and but now you can watch Neymar, you can watch Rafinha. I mean,
yeah,
hell, you can even watch one of the Arsenal Brazilians or whatever. But the point is, there's no mystery to football now because you're seeing the same people all the time anyway.
Yeah. Spencer said, but wouldn't the English players just go have a league? Back then, very rare you'd have an English player. The English league wasn't the best. You had the best league was Serie A. They were ones that. Go on.
Quick question. I believe it's 3 players who have won the Champions League, English players that have won the Champions League for non-English clubs. Name them.
McManaman?
Yep.
It's a good question. Right, 3 players. Right, hang on now. Yep. It's a good question. Chat, please don't fucking... Right. McManaman.
One's recent.
Bellingham.
Yep, 2. There's a third.
Was the third one in the squad rather than the team?
No, I think the third one was a
Because
respectable.
I'm thinking quite left field when saying like Jonathan Woodgate or Michael Owen.
David Beckham never actually won the Champions League outside or for Real Madrid.
Yeah, I'm on about Jonathan Woodgate.
I ain't counting Jonathan Wood. No, I don't think because he was part of the Galacticos and they never won the Champions League. To be fair,
Okay.
because that's why Beckham's only trophy with Real Madrid, to my knowledge, was the league when he was out of contract. Just before it.
Not Platt.
Remarkably talented, but also remarkably shit once they lost Claude Makélélé to Chelsea.
No, David Platt, no?
No, in the Champions League era.
Go on, tell me. I'm going to be pissed off.
Owen Hargreaves won the Champions League for Bayern Munich, didn't he?
He wasn't English. He played for fucking Wales under 21s as well. He played for Canada as well.
But he played for England. He played for England.
Man.
It counts.
Shit question.
It counts. You were sitting there saying that it was a great question.
It was a great question, but I actually seen Owen Hargreaves play for Wales under 21s. And then England bloody took him off us.
He was one of them players where everyone's like, oh, he can play for Canada. Oh, I think he spent time in America. Oh, he can play for... There was about 5 countries he could play for. And he was like, well, am I good enough to play for... They're like, yeah, you might be. He's like, I'll play for England then.
That guy was we're on about fucking charlatans. That guy was the biggest fucking charlatan of them all. I tell you, fuck it.
Is he the Welsh Declan Rice?
He cost the Welsh FA fucking millions, mate, to be honest. The Welsh FA were funding him when he was going through ranks of Bayern Munich. Played him in under 21 friendly. All of a sudden, who was it? Fucking Fabio Capello, I think it was. Or maybe, I think it was Fabio Capello to pinch him off us. Oh, I'm fuming. I remember then Wales played England in a qualifier. He had absolute dogs fucking abuse.
He was a good player though. He was never fit, but when he was a solid DM.
Yeah. Career cut short. Right, I tell you what, I tell you what. Maybe too young, I don't know. But I've done a question earlier on social media. And guys in the chat, you can give me your answer. Tom, I want to ask you the question first.
Okay.
France played Spain.
Okay.
Today. Right, for all the older heads, who was the better player? Jean-Pierre Papin or Emilio Butragueño?
I think it was Papin.
It's about 50-50, I'll be honest with you, all the response I've had.
Because Papin was really good, wasn't he? Like, exceptional. The other guy was good too, but Papin was...
But this is the thing of what you mentioned earlier. When European Cup back in that day, only Real Madrid or Barcelona would qualify. You know, Real Madrid weren't the Real Madrid of now. Do you know what I mean? No. They'd be lucky to get to a final.
They didn't win it for about 30 years at one point. People either forget or don't know. Like when they won it in the year, was it 1998? I think they beat Juventus 1-0. But they hadn't won it since like the 60s.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah.
They won the first 7.
I would go Emilio Butragueño. I think he done more on international level. And as we just mentioned, international level was the top level back in that day. But it was, you know, the amount of response I had, it ended up being about 50-50.
All
I'm
right.
going to.
Well, let me put one out for your chat. Obviously, who's a bigger star or who's a better player out of Eddie Nketiah or Patrick Bamford?
Oh.
Just put it out there. Because they're both obviously two of the greatest that have ever put on
But
a
they
shirt.
both shite. They both proper shit.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just a variation on your question. Some may say it'd be even tighter because people will be undecided. I suspect.
I would go
They
for
both score
Bamford.
Premier League
I would go
hat-tricks.
for Bamford. Yeah.
Bamford is on.
I'm not.
Bamford's football. Bamford's a footballing cockroach. I will like, and I know that sounds really insulting, but I mean it in the best way that he always finds a way back into the team.
Yeah, I think Eddie is only with Arsenal because of the homegrown rule. I think Arsenal just think, look, it's cheaper to pay him a wage rather than bring someone else just to fill in a homegrown. That's my opinion. Right, I tell
You
you,
know,
right, here's one in which is going to go up tomorrow because of the tomorrow's semi-final. Holland, England, right? Which was the better, Alan Shearer or Van Basten?
oh, hang on.
Alan Shearer or Van
Oh,
Basten?
that's like a coin toss. Because if Van Basten hadn't got injured in like the early 90s, no one you can't, like put a number on how many goals he would have scored.
Yeah. I love I still watch that volley against
That's
Soviet Union.
incredible. It shouldn't even be physically possible to do that with the football.
And
But he
they're
did.
both similar type of players. They weren't an out and out target man, but they could handle themselves. You know what I mean?
Be a good debate. There's no real wrong answer. Like
No,
Bamford
it's
is
just
clearly
personal
better than
opinion.
Eddie. I mean, my question was a bit dirty because like Spencer's upset because he knows the Arsenal player's going to lose to Bamford. But yeah, no, yeah, as Stefan says, Van Basten was a class footballer. Obviously, his career was cut shorter than ideally it would have been. And Alan Shearer's got the goal record, so you can turn around and go, it's Alan Shearer. Because
Yeah.
no one's going to outscore Alan Shearer in the Premier League because Haaland's not going to be around long enough to actually do it. Because he's going to go. I think Bamford's a better goal scorer than Kai Havertz.
That's a good one, though. Let's see what response is, which brings me on to this, really. The actual new numbers, and it's gone crazy, to be honest, Tom. YouTube, we hit the 10,000 mark. Facebook, we hit 22,000. They went up 10,000 in a couple of days because of a certain post I put up, which Facebook brought it down after 5 hours. It hit 3 million in 5 hours, 3 million views. But yet, Instagram, which is owned by the same company,
Yep.
I've kept the same post up. What?
Facebook is very soft compared to to Twitter.
Yeah.
You can essentially, it's like lawless. You can essentially put up what you want within reason. Whereas like Facebook is like, it's a lottery. You can sit there on Facebook and actually threaten to kill someone. But as long as you don't actually use the words, I'm going to kill you, it could be fine.
Yeah.
But then basically my ban record on Facebook reflects someone that knows these rules and how easy it is to fall foul of them.
Well, guys, listen, join the debates and conversations on the others, and there you go. Underneath all the login and page, Facebook page details and so on. Right, Tom, it's been an hour and a half.
It has.
It has, and I just want to thank you very much. I know we had a conversation earlier on, which I was like, oh, I can't be fucking arsed. Come on, we'll get through it. In all fairness, Tom, you dragged me kicking and screaming to do this tonight, and I appreciate it, and I needed to do it really, and the channel needed to do it.
I knew once you press live, it just time would move forward, and you'd get your opinions out and stuff like this. We'd get you on talking about a Luco or something, and you'd be fine. But yeah, no, we've all done that. No, we've all done that. Like, yeah, the amount of streams I've had Sunday night when we had a wrestling stream lined up, and I sat there all day going, I don't want to do this, and then I pressed live and then just sat there and did it.
It can't be like that. On Mode Wrestling, Hulk Hogan got married again, yeah?
He did? I thought he was already married to his daughter's mate.
Oh. Proper shenanigans going on there then, yeah?
Yeah, never meet your heroes.
Right, okay. On that note, thank you very much, guys in the chat. Thank you very much. And I'll be back soon. Promise, yeah? Bye-bye.